Welcome back to Ignition Sim Racing. My name is Miles, and I'm here with Ruben, and we're getting started. Today we're going to be racing LMP2s around Road America. There's going to be a full grid. We've also got the GTP AI and the GT3 AI in there to give a little bit of traffic onto the session. But let's get right into it. We're going to go through the starting grid. Starting in P1, we've got Hayden, who set a 155.7. Followed closely behind is Braden in P2, only a 1/10 behind. In P3, we've got Jack, 2/10 behind Braden. Fourth place, we've got Gary, 3/10 behind. So our top four are all within a second of each other. Coming down to the fifth place position, we've got Gabe. Sixth place, we've got Oliver. And then in seventh place, we've got Connor. And that's going to close out our starting grid for the race.
Yeah, Miles, it's going to be a good one. And if you look at Oliver's time compared to Hayden, they're actually within 7/10. So the grid is stacked with fierce competition.
Yeah, Ruben, it's really going to come down to who makes the most mistakes. All of these drivers have incredible pace, so it's up to them to be consistent for the full 2 hours. We're going to see pit stops. We're going to have to see some strategy in the race. So there's a lot of things that could favor some drivers more than others. We've also got the factor of traffic, which will play a big role with those GTPs being a little bit faster and then those GT3s being a little bit slower. So there's a lot that could happen in this 2 hours. I'm excited to get into it.
Oh yeah, the excitement is building up.
So now we're just waiting for the rest of the cars on track to finish up their last laps, and then we're going to get to the grid. But until then, we're just we'll check out the sights and sounds of the track. We'll see some of these other cars going around. All right, once again, looking at that starting grid, we've got Hayden in P1, Braden in P2. On the second row, we've got Jack in P3, Gary in P4. Our third row, we've got Gabe in P5 and Oliver in P6. And then we've got Connor in P7.
Yes, sir, and we are racing at Road America. If you're just tuning in for the first time, welcome. We're doing Ignition Sim Racing mini endurance race. It's a 2-hour event. We just had a half-an-hour qualifying time. Road America is a 4-mile track, so there's going to be plenty of time to get through traffic.
Yes, and before we get started, just so you guys know who you're looking for, we've got Braden, who's going to be in a custom livery. The rest of them are all going to be in Ignition Sim Racing. Braden's going to be in his Heart of Rejection team livery. The rest of them will be in the Ignition Sim Racing. We've got Hayden with the red livery. We've got Jack with the light blue livery, Gabe with the purple livery, Gary with the turquoise livery, Oliver with the dark blue livery, and Connor with the yellow livery. So when you see them on track, those are going to be your identifiers, along with obviously their race number. And we are rolling. We've got a short lap, partial lap behind the pace car, and then it's going to be racing once that green flag is out. Pace car is in.
Here we go. We got Hayden. They are off. Already making
Jack is already up at place in front of Braden. He slips in down the long straight.
We've got Braden trying to follow closely behind Jack, while Hayden pulls away.
Hayden with a bit of clean air and no fighting. He's looking to extend that gap early. Oh, and a big spin from Hayden.
Braden went off track, got back on cleanly. It looks like there was no incidents. Wow, they got very good.
No contact, but Hayden is going to have to fight back from this. He's got the pace to do it, though.
This is the problem when you start these races. The tires are very cold. They are not at optimal temperature, and it's easy to lose the car. Even though they have very high downforce, as soon as you lose it, it's gone.
Yeah, and as we get going, Jack is now taking that first position. He's taking the lead for the LMP2 class. Braden following closely behind.
Now we see Gary on the podium position. It's a long race, but let's see if he can hold it. Gabe just passed him.
A little further back, we're going to check in with this battle between Oliver and Gary. Gary in the purple car, Oliver in the turquoise. Sorry, Oliver in the blue car, Gary in the turquoise car.
Yeah, they're both following very closely behind Gabe. So we got Oliver, Gary, and Gabe being separated by almost half a second. We're all taking a big risk here, following very closely. After a lap or two, the tires should be at a reasonable temperature.
Going a little bit further back, it looks like Connor had an incident early on, and he's getting repairs in the pit lane.
That is unfortunate. Plenty of time to recover.
Coming up to the battle for P1. Great battle between Jack and Braden.
Yeah, they are fighting. They are not giving an inch here. They're pulling away from the pack, but their battle might just slow them down a bit. Here we're taking a look at Oliver.
Like we mentioned at the beginning, our qualifying times were super close together, so all of these drivers have the pace to stick with each other. It's really going to come down to who makes the most mistakes. As we saw early on with those cold tires, Hayden kind of gave it a little bit too much, and he spun lap 1, which put him all the way back in 6th place. He's got the pace to get back up there, but it's going to take some time. Luckily, he's got an hour and 56 minutes to make that happen.
That's right, Miles. There's plenty of time for Hayden. He was the fastest in qualifying. Let's see if he has the fastest pace when it comes to racing.
This surely will get interesting in the next couple laps when we start seeing traffic come into play. But right now, Braden is eyeing that P1 position.
Yeah, but Jack is holding it steady for now. You can still see the GTP cars in front, and he is going to try to follow as closely as he can.
Let's go on board with Braden as he hunts for that P1 position. Now Braden is looking to go 3 for 3 in the race wins. This will be his 3rd win. He's looking for the 3-peat, really. He's looking for that 3-peat. So this is a pretty big race for Braden. There's a lot of pressure here.
Just listen to that V8. 4.2. LMP2 cars are expected to move roughly between 550 to 600 horsepower. Very high downforce. They weigh barely over 2,000 pounds.
Yeah, and just so you guys know too, we're running the same setup for all the cars to kind of even that playing field a little bit. So this really is going to come down to driver skill more than anything. The setup is really not going to play too much of that. Driver skill and pit strategy. The strategy for this race is going to be made here.
Oh yeah, it's definitely a play a part once they start hitting, but driver technique does play a big role on top of the strategy, because some drivers are a lot more aggressive. They're gonna go through tires and fuel faster than the ones that preserve or have smoother inputs with the braking.
Going further back in the field, Oliver is still hunting Gary for that 4th place position, and if you go even back further, Hayden has now brought his 3-second gap to Oliver down to less than a second. So once again, he's got the pace to do it. We'll see if he can make it happen.
Yeah, Oliver is very close to Gary. Let's see, look at that. They are both pushing hard. The tires should be at good temperatures. So right now they are just fighting for position.
And if you look at our timing board, you can see how close those lap times are. Those are all the previous laps, and they're extraordinarily close. Go back up to the front of the field where Braden is now 1/10 away from Jack as we go around for another lap. Let's see if he can make it happen.
Yeah, those two are fighting tooth and nail right from the get-go. We're not even 10 minutes into the race, and they have stuck to each other like peanut butter and jelly.
This is probably our closest field we've ever had, pace-wise. As we can see, we're already a few laps into the race, and the whole field is still in contention for these top spots.
Oh, and it looks like Braden is making a move. They are side by side. He's ahead, and he makes it through by the next turn.
What a great move. Let's get a replay on that one.
That move was set up a couple of corners ago. Dived into the inside, went wide, and whoa! What happened there? Looks like Gabe is off.
Gabe went a little bit wide. Off the track, into the dirt.
And he threw a lot of gravel on track. That's going to complicate things for everyone on the field.
And now we have a 3-way fight for 4th place.
Oh, this is close.
Sorry, a 3-way fight for 3rd place. Hayden slips into 4th place, just ahead of Gary. Now side by side, he goes around.
Oh, in the gravel.
Oliver takes it wide. The field's so close. Oliver is now down in that 6th place position.
And it's moments like this that will determine the winner as well as the podium. You have to be consistent, you have to keep it clean, and you have to know when to surrender a corner to your opponent. Otherwise, you're going to pay for it, like Oliver just did.
We've got some entertaining racing for you guys already, early in the race. It might spread out a little bit once they start entering the pits and using some of that strategy to their advantage, but right now we've got 6 cars fighting for a podium.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. It has been filled with action from the start. We are 8.5 minutes in, and there has been racing throughout the entire field. Everyone is neck and neck fighting for positions.
Now let's go on board with Hayden as he tries to close the gap to P2. All right, we are back. And let's jump around. Gabe is hanging in tight after an off track that dropped him back down to 6th place. He's now back up in the 4th and looking for that 3rd place from Hayden. Hayden spun lap 1 from 1st place and dropped back to 6th place, and he has now gone all the way back up to 3rd place. There's been a ton of position changes already, and we're only 11 minutes into this race.
You're right, Miles. We have had position changes virtually from everyone. David started in the lead on pole position. He's now in 3rd. Braden is now in the lead, and Jack has jumped up from 3rd to 2nd. As for Gary, he dropped back down to 6th. Unfortunately, he lost 2 positions from his race start in 4th. Oliver has moved up a spot, and Gabe has also moved up a spot. Well, let's see how it plays out. We're starting to see the grid open up a bit. There's starting to be gaps in between drivers. They're losing that slipstream. But let's see how they fare in opening.
Yeah, Ruben. I mean, as we can see, Oliver has kind of dropped back to a 2-second gap from Gabe, who was in 4th place. And Oliver had great pace early on in this race, but after an off track into the gravel, it slowed him down quite a bit. So I think strategy is really going to play in for Oliver in the long run. And I don't think we've seen him here in the past. He's racing our race events before. He's a great driver, smart driver. So it's going to be, I think for him, it's going to come down to strategy.
Yeah, and he had a little shake there into the final corners coming out of the carousel.
But even in this race, even 5th place is not guaranteed. Gary is close behind, and these drivers will fight for any place, whether it's 1st place or 5th place. So we got great battles throughout the field. Let's go a little bit further up. We almost have a 3-way fight for 2nd place as these drivers close in on each other.
I would say it's even a battle for the win because everyone is almost half a second from each other. Jack from Braden, Hayden from Jack, and Gabe from Hayden.
We got all 4, the top 4 on screen right here for you guys. Crazy pace from these drivers, very consistent pace. They're all in the 156s right now, except for P5 and P6, and even then, they're so close.
And we have a move. It looks like Gabe got past Hayden. He is going on the inside and gets it done.
He went wide on that corner earlier in the race, but not this time. He's going to take the inside line and take that position back up into 3rd place for Gabe.
Now let's see how Hayden responds. Meanwhile, in the front, we have Jack still fighting with Braden for the win.
Ooh, and he hits the switchback on him going up. He's on the inside and back into 1st place. Jack takes P1 again. Braden close behind.
Wow, and they're doing that on a dirty track filled with gravel. Amazing.
Braden tucks in behind Jack, getting a little bit of that slipstream as we go down this. Oh, Jack protects the inside, holding P1, but once again, Braden's going to slip in behind. The battling has now scrunched up the top 4, all within a second. These positions are up for grabs.
Yeah, and I also want to mention Connor. I know we haven't talked about him too much. This is his first ever competitive race that he has ever done. So huge shout out to Connor for coming down to Ignition Sim Racing and trying this out. As you can tell, the field is super competitive. Pretty much every driver here has been in a race before. A lot of them are podium finishers, if not winners. And Connor stepped up to the plate and decided to give it a try, see how he fares against the very best here at Ignition Sim Racing.
Yeah, well said, Ruben. These race events are really for anyone of all skill levels. This is a great place to improve your craft, get extremely competitive with some of the fastest drivers here in Tucson, Arizona.
Yeah, and for this race specifically, oh, we have a dip in the dirt.
Ooh, Braden catches a little bit of the gravel there and is now down into P3. Gabe now up into 2nd place, and Braden is currently battling with that red ISR car that is Hayden is behind the wheel of.
And Oliver is closing in quickly. He was within a second. Now he's within half a second. Oh my God!
Great lunge from Hayden. Great lunge from Hayden to secure that third place position for now.
This is going to be a race to remember. There is action non-stop, and we are only 15 minutes in.
Yeah, the entire field is within view of each other. They are fighting for every position, but that battle between Braden and Hayden has actually created a 2-second gap from P2. If they lose that slipstream, this might be this Gabe might be able to extend that lead with Jack, and they just got to fight for P1 and P2.
Yeah, Gabe and Jack have an opportunity to just kind of race off into the distance while Hayden has a train with the rest of the grid.
Now let's take it back. Braden is still looking to fight back to the top. One off track is not going to deter him from just putting in as much as he possibly can, leaving it all on track.
Yes, sir. This kid is dialed in. One mistake will not stop him. He'll just bounce right back.
And like I said, Braden is searching for that 3-peat here at Ignition Sim Racing. This would be his third race win in a row. That's a lot of pressure. These other drivers don't have pressure like that. They have nothing to lose. They're just putting it all out on the track.
Yeah, and right now he just needs to get on the podium. So 3-peat on podium would be very impressive as it is. But right now he has to get past Hayden to do that, and Hayden is one of our strongest drivers here.
Back up to the front, Gabe is not letting Jack get out of sight. He wants that first place position. Let's see what he can do.
Yeah, he's applying a lot of pressure, especially through this section here with the gravel. It's a little tricky because there's not as much grip. There's also a bit of rubber marbles being created from those tires decorated.
Yeah, and as far as our drivers go, Jack is looking to be on the podium for the first time here at Ignition Sim Racing. Gabe has been on the podium before. Like I said, Hayden has also been on the podium. Braden has been on the podium. Oliver has been on the podium. And Gary is searching for that first podium here at Ignition Sim Racing. So there's a lot on the line for most of these drivers.
Yeah, but don't count Gary out. He hasn't gotten on the podium, but in the only race that he made an appearance in was our very first Ignition Sim Racing event. And or actually it was our second, sorry about that. But he was in contention for the win. Him and Victor were in the lead, far ahead of the field.
And it looks like Jack is actually coming up on Connor, who is 2 laps down. Connor being very smart and predictable, he gets out of the way and lets the front runners fight it out.
That's a very thoughtful move. He gets out of the racing line. He knows he doesn't have the pace that these top runners do, so he lets them by very courteous of him.
And taking a look back, we still got Hayden, Braden, Oliver, and Gary all seeing what position they can secure by the end of this 2-hour race.
It has been 20 minutes almost, and all of our drivers are right behind each other entering turn 5. Every single driver on the grid after 20 minutes happens to be in the same section on track. Oh, and we have someone run off. I think it was Gabe.
Let's get a replay on that one. Ooh, actually, we're going to go back live as a incident unfolds. Car contact further back. I believe that was Hayden involved. Let's take a look at what happened.
Massive contact. Oh, and a big spin. I think Gabe went off track, rejoined, and took Hayden out with him. That's very unfortunate for both of them. Let's take the aerial view here. So yeah,
Gabe comes back on track, and Hayden just cannot get out of the way from the slower car.
That was a crazy save from Braden. He went off track deep into the grass, but avoided them.
Let's hope that Hayden doesn't have too much damage to the car and can at least get it around for that first pit stop.
That is wishful thinking. I think both Hayden and Gabe have damage.
Ooh, and that's another off for Oliver. That's probably going to cost him 2 places.
It looks like all of this intense racing is starting to build up on their tires. Or what do you think, Miles? Do you think it's the gravel?
To be honest, yeah, the gravel on the track is definitely not making it easy, and they're about at the end of their first stint before they need to pit, and so those tires, like we've seen, they're pushing hard, and they're fighting in the dirty air, which is not helping. And I think all of those factors together are just causing these mistakes. I said it earlier in the race, but all of these drivers have the pace. It's just going to come down to mistakes, and we've seen mistakes cost people 4 positions. That's how close the field is.
Yeah, it looks like Hayden is in the pits now. Unfortunately, he had to get a tow in there due to the damage that he received.
If he lugged that thing back to the pits, though, Ruben, this actually might be incredible for his strategy. He's going to get his fuel, he's going to get his tires, and he's going to get back out there. These other drivers still need to pit. This could be a good strategy call for him as well.
Yeah, you're right. If he didn't get the tow and actually hauled the car into the pits, then this might be a good move for him. It looks like he's getting his tire changes, he's doing fuel, and he is off. Let's see how everyone else does.
Hayden will be coming out into traffic, though, so he's going to have to be careful, and this might slow him down.
Oh yeah, now this is where the race starts to get interesting because he is going into traffic with GT3 cars, which are much faster prototype cars, and GT3 cars, which are cars that look like your regular speed cars, just race versions.
Yeah, and it looks like Gabe still has his eyes set on that P1 position. Braden a little bit further back with a 3-second gap to second place. But we are still early into this race. We've got an hour and 38 minutes left, and these drivers have the pace to make it happen. We've also got some strategy that will come into play soon, as well as that lap traffic we saw with Hayden. Those faster class cars are coming, and they could pose to be a pretty big problem if these drivers cannot manage an efficient way to get around them.
Yeah, we're gonna see how everyone plans their pits. If they can strategize and come out of the pits in clean air, that's gonna be huge. Hayden didn't have that choice because of his unfortunate incident, but he's gonna have to adapt and change his strategy up. I think he's still in this fight.
I would definitely not count Hayden out yet. I agree with you completely. Even further back, we're seeing these drivers put it all on the line. They're getting squirrely out of these turns. They're going a little bit off track. They do have to watch out, because if they get too many off tracks or incidents, they're going to get a drive-through penalty, and that really could ultimately ruin the race for all of them. The field is so close, Ruben, that one penalty can set you back enough that it'd be detrimental.
Yeah, right now, if Jack were to hypothetically get a penalty for incident points, he would drop back to where Hayden is. He would lose 5 positions. That is how close this field is. It has been 35 minutes almost, and everyone is separated by almost 6 seconds.
Luckily, we've got some really clean driving here, so I don't see that being an issue, but you never know. Gabe is about a 1.5 seconds back from Jack, who is currently in the lead of the race, and he's only getting closer.
And a little bit further back, we have Oliver getting closer and closer to Gary. He might be preparing a move soon.
Yeah, I think patience is definitely the key in a race like this. It's 2 hours. Again, these drivers, Hayden's the only one who's actually completed his first pit stop. They'll probably need, if I calculated it right, they'll probably need at least 2 pits before the end of the race, just based on fuel usage alone. Not to mention the tire degradation is decent. These drivers will probably be taking tires every time they enter the pits.
Yeah, it looks like the way that they're fighting, they're going to go through tires faster than they're going through fuel.
Incredible field we've got here. We've got Braden, Gary, and Oliver all eyeing that third place position. A little bit further ahead, we've got Gabe still looking for that P1 position, and it's actually looking like Jack is coming up on traffic. Let's actually go to the cockpit of Jack's car and get a look into what he's seeing as he navigates the slower GT3 class. Jack is making quick work of this GT3 traffic, and it doesn't look like it's slowing him down that much. Gabe is now 3 seconds back, so the GT3 traffic might not be. Gabe might be struggling getting through the traffic. It cost him a little bit of time. Let's go further back with Oliver as he's fighting with Braden. It looks like traffic isn't doing Braden any favors either. Oliver is currently holding that 5th place position. He goes a little bit wide. And Braden is up into 4th, but still side by side.
Yeah, Oliver is not going to give that position up easy. They bump. It looks like they are still fighting, but Braden eventually does get the move done.
Yeah, and Oliver drops back behind. Yeah, as we've seen, they've come up on the slower GT3 traffic, and it has not been benefiting anybody. Jack actually navigated the traffic pretty efficiently, whereas Gabe lost about 2 seconds to the lap traffic.
Yeah, before they started entering traffic, Gabe was following Jack closely and steadily at 1.2, 1.3 seconds. He has lost that completely and is now more than 3 seconds behind.
Yeah, Gary slips behind a McLaren, gets out in front, and is now about 1.2 seconds off of that P2 position. Gary, after he had an off track early in the race, which brought him back down to 6th place, and he's already back to 3rd place after an incident with Hayden, and also the fight between Braden and Oliver has kind of slowed the entire field down. And now you add the extra variable of the slower traffic, and he's actually benefiting greatly from that. He's back up to 3rd from 5th place about 5 minutes ago.
Yeah, some of these drivers are managing traffic very, very well. Some are kind of getting lost. They're gaining tunnel vision, I'm assuming, and not finding right areas to pass traffic or pass the slower cars, while others are managing exceptionally well.
Yeah, Gary has now just jumped up to less than a second behind Gabe, who is currently holding that 2nd position. Gabe is 5 seconds from the lead, so if Jack can extend this lead, he might have an extremely beneficial pit stop.
Yeah, the way this is going, if Jack can keep pushing while Gabe holds up Gary, because it looks like Gary has a stronger pace right now, but Jack could potentially get a free stop and retain the lead.
Now, it looks like, based on Hayden's pit time, it took about 42 seconds for a pit stop. So I don't know if he'll get that big of a gap, but it'll definitely help in the long run of the race. We still have an hour and 30 minutes, so each second counts.
That's right, Miles. Every single second counts. We've seen incidents, we've seen off tracks, we've seen action non-stop for the last half hour, and we're following Jack closely here as he approaches, I believe, the final GT car.
Yeah, and As we're out front with Jack here, a little backstory for Jack. He's actually a Ligier Junior Formula driver, and he actually raced at Road America a few months back. So he has real world experience in those Formula 4 cars here. This is obviously a different beast, and we're in the iRacing, but still, he's got some real world experience, which might be paying off in this race.
Oh, it definitely is. You could see that the real life skill translates to iRacing. He is managing the lead. He started off a bit further back in the qualifying, but he managed to get through everyone, through incidents, through off tracks, and he is holding that lead pretty comfortably.
Gary is still a second behind Gabe. He still has his sights on second place. This has been an incredible showing so far.
Now, a problem with these high downforce cars is the closer you get to the car you're following, the more dirty air you will get. Dirty air is just turbulence coming from the other car, so it'll affect the downforce of their car, and they have to know how to adapt to it.
Some GT3 traffic getting in the way of Gary, slowing him down a little bit, giving Gabe a little bit of room there, a little bit of breathing room. But, you know, Gary makes quick work of the GT3 traffic, and he's right back in that fight.
Yeah, but that gave Braden an opportunity. He was 2 seconds behind Gary. Now he is 1.4 and gaining.
Yeah, the pace on these drivers, Ruben, is just exceptional. The fact that they can make these mistakes and come back from it this quick is extremely impressive, especially while managing traffic. Obviously, the traffic is probably helping them out a little bit, depending on where they're having to pass. But still, the fact that all of these drivers can see the taillights is exceptional.
Oh yeah, we have a field of elite drivers. Everyone is super competitive. Honestly, I still see Hayden in this fight. Once everyone starts pitting, we're going to have to see where he comes out and how he uses his track position to his advantage.
Yeah, we've obviously seen the top 5 dealing with immense traffic, but it looks like Hayden has cleared that pretty early on from doing that pit stop. So he's just been driving, hot lapping in the clear air. This actually, in the long run, might benefit him. He might be making up the time. He's been consistently doing 156s, and that might just do it.
Yeah, so far his fastest lap is a 55.5, basically. So he is flying. We're about to see him finish this lap. Let's see if he can top that time. Go back to it. Oh, it's going to be close. He's in the 57s, so he slowed down quite a bit. That's not going to be good for his pace.
Oliver still eyeing that 4th position. He is keeping Braden in sight. He is not letting up. He is staying in the rear view mirrors, keeping the pressure on. Let's see if these drivers can stay consistent. Really, whoever can stay consistent the most is going to be in the best position. And so far, it honestly seems like Jack has been driving the most consistent. He's got the least amount of incident points, least amount of off tracks, so he's just keeping it clean, and it's paying off for him.
Yeah, and speaking of incident points, it looks like Connor has racked up quite a bit. Once you get a certain amount, you do get a drive-through penalty. So as time progresses, these drivers are going to have to be more and more careful to not incur incident points, because that drive-through will be detrimental to their race.
Taking a look on board with Braden as he's still hunting down Gary for that 3rd position. This has been a great fight all race. These drivers are fighting for every 10th, every second, and they're going to keep going till the end. We still haven't seen a pit stop other than Hayden, which was an early stop to fix some damage in the car and also get fuel and tires I cannot wait to see what happens and what strategy these drivers go with. If they're going to take it all the way to the last ounce of fuel in their fuel tanks, or if they're going to play it safe, go in early, try and cut people off. But we're getting close to some action.
Yeah, the tension is building up as these drivers go through their fuel tanks and their tires. Hayden pitted about 20 minutes into the race, so he has only been out on the field for 15 minutes or so. These drivers have been out on the same tires for 35 minutes and pushing, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, and when Hayden came out of the pits, he was about a minute 20 down from Oliver, and he's getting that gap closer. And I previously said, the pit stop is going to take about 42 seconds, whether or not they get a good stop or not. But that pit service is going to take about 42 seconds, a total of a minute 13 for that pit stop, taking fuel and tires. So that's if Hayden can get that gap down under even a minute 10, he can gain some positions off of the other drivers pitting, as long as he doesn't have to go in again.
Yeah, him getting 3.5 seconds up could bump him up a couple of positions. Oliver is within a second of Braden. Braden is less than a second of Gary, so they are all still very, very close. The whole field is pretty tight. Right now, Jack has a comfortable 2.5 second lead, followed by Gabe, but Gabe is also 4.5 seconds up from Gary, so they are all in pretty clear air.
All right, taking a look back, it actually, Oliver is within a second of Braden. He has not let up. He has been in Braden's rear view this entire time. Braden is a 2-time winner here at Ignition Sim Racing in our previous race events. So this could be an interesting battle going forward. Let's take a look up the field.
Oh, and we have an off.
Ooh, and it
Connor.
looks like Connor's off into the dirt. It looks like he stayed out of the wall, though, which is extremely beneficial. He won't have to fix any damage or anything. Let's go further up the field and take a look at P2. It looks like Gabe is now within less than a second of Jack.
Yeah, he managed to close that gap. He is closing in on him, getting a nice slipstream down this final corner. They are entering the big and final straight here, finishing up the lap, so he's going to get a nice slipstream. Oh, it looks like they're both going into the pits.
This is probably a smart move by Gabe. The gap is so close, and they're at the end of their tire life. You can tell the pace kind of dropped off for both of them, although Gabe kept it a little bit quicker to catch up to Jack. But this pit stop, let's see if these drivers can do the fastest stop they can.
Yeah, if we take a look at their lap times from this last lap, it looks like a lot of these drivers were losing pace. A lot of them were running 57s when the field has consistently been at 56s or lower.
This could be an extremely pivotal moment in the race. Hayden is now coming up quickly, 52 seconds behind. He's pushing with everything he's got. He sees that the cars are in the pit. Every single person is in the pit except Hayden and Connor. Hayden has already made his pit stop. He's now within 40 seconds. Let's see where Jack comes out at the end of this pit stop, followed by Gabe, and then this should be really interesting. What do you think, Ruben?
This is actually insane. So everyone came in at the exact same time. We're looking at the pit stops right now. Jack has been in there for 47 seconds. Gabe was right behind him as well. It looks like Hayden has a shot.
Hayden is coming up to the start-finish line, and they haven't even left the pits. Jack is coming out of the pits right now. Hayden is now coming up on the pit exit.
I think Hayden is going to get the lead, and he does. Hayden is now in the lead of the race. Wow.
What an insane... The strategy might pay off for Hayden unless he needs to pit again, which could ruin his race. But we're not going to think about that right now. We want to see if he can extend this lead on these older tires. Gabe and Jack are not going to fight for position as well. Ooh!
Oh, it looks like...
Further back, we've got Gary. It looks like he spun on old tires. Let's take a look at that. What do you think, Ruben?
Oh, it looks like he got a little too excited with those tires. So he has a full tank of fuel. He has cold tires. He's been running fast. He's been pushing the car as much as possible. And it looks like the condition changes were just too much.
Yeah, and further up the field, it looks like Braden as well, just pushing those cold tires a little bit further than they probably can go. And he's going to lose a position to Oliver with that slow exit. We'll go back live and take a look at this battle.
Oh, yeah, it looks like they are fighting. These two have been next to each other the entire race. It's been 42 minutes, and they have not been more than 3 seconds from each other.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. These drivers came out of the pit, Ruben, and they are still pushing with the same pace that they had with low fuel and warm tires. It's got me a little bit nervous up here, but let's see if they can hang on. Every mistake matters, so obviously the less you have, the better it's going to be. But Hayden, with an early pit stop due to damage to his car, has now taken the lead of the race.
Now, we gotta think, his tires are a lot more worn. He's been out on track for 20 more minutes than everybody else on his tires. But he could pull this off. Everyone took 40 minutes before pitting. If he can extend that a bit more, he can do one final pit stop and run the car all the way to the end.
Yeah, looking back at it too, because of the amount of fuel that Hayden had when he went into the pits, his pit stop took significantly less time than everyone else. Everyone else was doing about a minute 33 for the entire pit stop, and Hayden actually only did a minute 13, so that kind of benefited him as well. But we're gonna have to see if he can make it to the end. If any of these drivers can make it to the end, I'm foreseeing that everybody's gonna need another pit stop at some point in this race, and that's where the strategy is going to play in. They're probably not going to be at the lowest fuel they possibly can be at, but it's going to be close. And yeah, we're going to have to see. In our previous race events, we actually had some crazy strategy calls. We had drivers go in earlier than others, and for some of those drivers, the strategy is what won them the race.
Yeah, some of those drivers even extended their stints. While some went early, some wanted to go as far as possible. Right now, Hayden is in the lead. He has a lot less fuel, so his car is way lighter. He's managing to get through this traffic very easily.
Yeah, and looking further into the race, this is a 2-hour event, and these drivers had to pit at around the 1 minute 20 mark, which means they are not going to make it to the end of this race on that last pit stop. So, depending on when Hayden wants to pit, we could see the same outcome happen again, where he falls to the back of the pack and then he has the clean air, he has the pace. Once those other drivers pit, Hayden's strategy might pay off in the end, and I'm excited to see where this goes. Let's take a look further up as Gabe is still in Jack's rear view, still fighting for that second position.
And you know that's going to be rough for Jack. He just wants to catch up to Hayden, who's only 5 seconds ahead. Jack has had the best pace in the race. He's trying to get through traffic, but Gabe is constantly behind him, flashing his lights, letting him know he's there, distracting him.
A little further back, let's take a look at the battle between Braden and Oliver as some hypercar traffic starts trying to navigate the field.
Oh, it looks like the Porsche 963 is flashing his lights at Braden. He's telling him, let me by, I am faster.
Braden clearly ignoring the blue flag. Rightfully so. He's fine with Oliver still, and they've got their own battle going on.
Yeah, and it is up to the faster cars to get through safely. Oh, it looks like Oliver hits gravel a bit. Let's see if that sets up a move for Braden through the carousel.
Yeah, Braden's going to get an assist here with that slipstream being behind Oliver, so that could close the gap even further and open up the opportunity for a move. A little bit further up, though, Gabe is still hanging in within half a second of Jack.
Now, I just want to take a look and admire these liveries. This is the first time we do Ignition Sim Racing liveries on these cars. They all have it except for the Heart of Racing livery from Braden. But all of these cars look amazing. So thank you for that.
Yeah, it makes it a little bit easier on us to identify and gives you guys, the viewer, a little bit more of an appealing car to look at, and we can identify our drivers. We've got Gabe here in the purple Ignition Sim Racing livery. We've got Jack here in the light blue. A little bit further back, though, Braden not letting up. Both drivers, Braden and Oliver, are exchanging mistakes left and right, just pushing to the max. They're at probably the max of their pace right now, and it is showing.
Yeah, and they have adapted very well. They came out of the pits after getting used to a very light car. They have a full tank of fuel now, so the car is much heavier. It does not rotate how it was just a few laps ago. And their tires are also changing the way the car reacts. Oh, it looks like Braden goes a bit wide. He tried to overtake the GT3, wasn't patient enough, and has to pay for it.
Yeah, it might have been more worth it for him to just wait for a better opportunity, but that cost him even more time. He is now down 2 seconds to Oliver. Oliver cleared the traffic just to get caught up in some more, but let's see if he can efficiently get around it, and this could open up some clear air for him to extend the gap, as Braden is also going to have to navigate the Porsche and BMW.
Yeah, as the race goes on, the traffic gets more and more hectic. There are GT3 cars getting passed by the GTP cars. At the same time, we have these drivers competing for position, so they are not letting off.
Gary had an early spin due to the cold tires coming out of the pits, and he dropped back into 6th place, but that is not stopping him from keeping the pace up. He's been consistently running lap after lap, and he's just hoping to get back up into the fight with Braden. Once he gets there, I know he'll have the pace to overtake Braden and possibly even catch up to the leaders who are in 3rd place. So the podium is not out of sight for any of these drivers. We still have some strategy that will come into play later in the race. But let's go up to 1st place and see how Hayden's doing navigating the traffic up in 1st place. There's still about a 6-second gap to 2nd place, and he's just trying to extend that lead.
And he has been extending it very well. I think Jack came out of the pits right behind Hayden. Those cold tires and that big fuel tank was not good for Jack to stay close to him. But yeah, Hayden has great pace right now. That 6 second lead has now jumped up close to 8 seconds.
Yeah, Ruben, I think for Hayden, it's really going to come down to when he does his second pit stop. It has to realistically, it has to be around the 50 to like 45-minute mark, or he's going to have to do 3 stops, which would obviously probably be the end of his contention for a podium in this race. But depending on how much fuel he's got left in the car, he might be able to make it another 15-20 minutes, which could help him secure a podium in this race after an early incident with, I believe it was Gabe in the purple car.
That's right. Gabe went off track. He returned back to the track and came in very slowly. Hayden tried to get around. He couldn't. He misjudged the speed difference, I'm assuming, and just took them both out, causing damage to his car. But like you mentioned earlier, his pit stop was a lot faster than everyone else's because he had a lot more fuel. So now it's just managing that fuel and seeing if he can make it. I think to that 45-minute mark, that would be the best strategy for him to stay in contention for the win.
Yeah, with an 8-second lead, it might be beneficial for him to start lifting and coasting on the end of these straights and try and push that fuel capacity as far as he can. This is an incredible battle that we are currently looking at, as Gabe goes on the inside of Jack and actually takes second position. Jack slips in behind Gabe. Great fight. Gabe has been looking for that move for probably the last 30 minutes, and it finally has paid off. He's kept consistent pace, very minimal mistakes from both drivers, actually. Gabe and Jack have been driving a very clean and consistent race. This is getting interesting.
Yeah, that was a very clean pass by Gabe. Jack has not made a lot of mistakes in this race. Gabe is now following very closely and got the move done. Now we'll see how Jack responds and see if he can take it back.
Yeah, Ruben, these drivers, I gotta say, over this entire race, they look so comfortable in these LMP2s. It's great to see that. We've got a great setup on the cars. We've got great track in Road America, and we've got some great drivers. So this has been an extraordinary race. I hope everybody's enjoying. If you guys want to be a part of something like this, follow us on all of our socials at Ignition Sim Racing, and keep an eye out for our race announcements. There's tons of opportunities every month, and you could be a part of racing like this.
That's right, Miles. Lots of racing. Almost every weekend we host events. Some of them are open sign up, just like this one, so we could have newcomers give it a try, like Connor. Connor wanted to give it a shot. It is very brave of him to make the attempt. I don't believe he has raced on iRacing before. At least this is his first competitive race that he's ever done. And so far, he's doing a good job for a first-timer. He's keeping it on track, and he's actually improving quite a bit. He started off running 210s, 208s, and as we approach the hour mark, it looks like he's gonna break into the 150s.
Yeah, great drive by Connor. We love to see him adapt and kind of overcome these challenges that he's faced during this race. And now I think now that he's kind of gotten a feel for it, he's starting to improve every lap. He's starting to get a feel for it. He's just getting better, and that's what we like to see. We just like to see all the improvement that these drivers can show, even in the top six. Like, all of these drivers throughout the race and throughout their time here at Ignition Sim Racing have shown incredible improvement, and it's just awesome to see that and to grow the community. So yeah,
we love to see it. But now I'm concerned. I want to see what happened to Hayden. He had an 8.5-second gap, and that has come down to 1 second almost. It looks like he has some sort of damage. I think he might have gone off track or made contact with some of the traffic, because he has completely lost all of his pace and all of that gap he had gained.
Yeah, let's see if we can locate that replay and see if there was anything that happened. We're going to stay on board with him because Gabe is coming in fast, looking to take the lead.
Oh yeah, there had to have been some sort of incident. We'll try to find it and see if we can get you a replay, but for now, let's just keep watching. It looks like Gabe dives down the inside. He takes the slipstream from the GTP and they are off. Huge crash.
Oh, we've got to get a better look at that.
Let's see what happened.
Gabe takes the inside line and
Oh, wow. I think Hayden's car has so much damage that the bump unsettled his car and he was unable to save it, taking them both out.
yeah, that is a tough incident. It could have been an issue on iRacing's part too, but who can say? Let's just hope that these drivers can get it back to the pit lane in one piece and get the car fixed up. It is extremely sad to see that happen for both drivers. Hayden's been trying to overcome adversity this entire race. Gabe has been having incredible pace for the entire race. So I'm just hoping that these drivers can get it back to the pit lane and hopefully save the rest of the race.
Yeah, very unfortunate for both drivers. Gabe did have pretty monstrous pace. It looks like one of his tires, the suspension is gone. That tire is getting dragged. He has no front end, and he is just going to try to limp the car back to the pits. As unfortunate as it is, though, Jack did get out of that very cleanly. He got past both cars without making any contact, and he is now running with the victory.
Yeah, he's got first place in sight, but Ruben, they're gonna have to do another pit stop. So this is still those podium spots are still up for grabs.
Yeah, you're definitely right, Miles. And honestly, I think this might even give Gary a shot at the podium. Gary has been running for the last half hour or so near the back of the grid, but with such a massive crash, he gets past both Gabe and Hayden. He is now in fourth, only 7 seconds behind Braden, and we know that one mistake can cost you the race.
Yeah, and with a pit stop from Hayden probably fixing some damage as well, Gabe will soon be following him into the pits. This could be the end of his podium contention. I don't know if he'll have enough fuel to make it to the end of the race without another stop. We saw our initial drivers. It took them on a full tank of fuel. It was about 45 minutes before they had to make that pit stop, and there is still an hour and two minutes left in this race. Fortunately for our drivers, they will have a quick repair available to them, so they won't be completely out of the race. Again, anything could happen to any of these drivers. Now, let's just go on board with Jack and get a lap with him.
So we just got a full lap with Jack. That takes you inside the cockpit of what it's like to drive around here in Road America. These drivers have been doing it for a full hour, and Jack had a bit of clean air, but when you're right behind someone, you cannot see very well. On top of that, there's a lot of hills, so it makes it extremely difficult to see what's happening ahead.
Yeah, and back to now looking back to Braden and Oliver, they are still just swapping positions. It's great to see these drivers so close, and for a 2 hour race like this, they have been looking at the tail end of each other for most of this race. It's pretty insane, honestly. Great pace from these drivers, and they're keeping it clean too, which we love to see.
Yeah, they've been so close to each other the entire race, whether that's going through traffic or letting faster cars through. They have managed to stay within half a second for most of this race, so it's super, super impressive to see. And they're coming up on the backliner Connor.
Yeah, let's see. They're also coming up on some slower traffic ahead, so we're gonna have to see how that plays into it. Or we've seen throughout this race the traffic has actually been pretty detrimental to most people, losing a lot of time and bringing those gaps up. So let's see if they can get past Connor. Connor lets him by, and now they're side by side going up towards that start finish line.
We gotta applaud Connor's awareness. He's brand new to sim racing, or at least to competitive sim racing. I don't think he's done an event on iRacing, but he knows that there's cars behind him. He's very aware, and even though he's not as quick as them, he still manages to make way, to let them by and not impede any driver or upset anyone's race. Oh, look at that, and he just lost it.
Braden is now up into the second place position. Oliver close behind. All right. A little bit further back, it's looking like Hayden has racked up another meatball flag, which might send him back into the pits. Let's see if we can find that replay. Ooh.
Oh yeah, big spin. Big spin for him. He goes into the gravel. Luckily, he's off track. Let's see what happened here. So he tried to do a dive bomb on one of the GT3s, get past him. It looks like he broke a little too hard. That is a downhill, so you have less grip on your rear tires. And he just was not expecting the car to lose out that much.
Yeah, he also was recently in the pits, so that might just be cold tires as well.
Yeah, it looks like he had the pace. He had the pole position. He led most of the laps, but he just didn't have that consistency. It just seemed like things here and there with the incidents that he got into, as well as the spins from, I'm guessing, frustration.
Yeah, and a fun twist on this race, now that I'm noticing it, is as you can see, the sun is kind of going down. We actually have this on 8 times time multiplier, which is going to send these guys driving through the night. We will see how that affects their pace and affects this battle. A little bit further ahead, it actually looks like Braden has caught up to Jack. I'm wondering if there was another incident down the road there for him.
Yeah, he is within a second, and like you said, Miles, the nighttime will affect the drivers quite a bit. Oh, it looks like that Ferrari tapped him quite a bit. That is an old replay of what happened to Jack.
Yeah, that's why the gap has come down so much, and now that 8 second gap is, or that 8 second lead is now down to less than a second.
Yeah, and you have to wonder if that tap compromised Jack's aerodynamics. So we would hope that his car is driving like it should, but there might be a compromise there.
As we can see, though, Gary is now back into fourth place all the way from the back. We said early on, do not count him out, and now Oliver and Braden have a shot at a podium in this race. We obviously still have some strategy that's going to go on for the rest of this race with the pit stops, but this could be good. This could be good for the three of them.
Yeah, not only a shot at podium, but a shot at the win. If you look, Oliver is less than a second and a half from Jack. Jack is trying to get through traffic. Braden is trying to catch him, and Oliver is gaining on both of them.
Yeah, this is probably these drivers are probably not happy to see the traffic right now with the state of the race and how close they are. And we've even got the GTPs coming in, so all three classes right now are clashing.
Yeah, it is looking crazy out there. We have 5 cars, 6, 7 cars into this corner. They are fighting neck and neck. A lot of these cars are faster, and they are trying to get by, so they are putting the pressure on our drivers.
This is some incredible racing from our drivers. We see Jack and Braden trying to swap places, going side by side into these turns with a GTP in front and behind. They're in the GTP sandwich right now.
Yeah, and on top of that, it is nightfall. We are no longer on a warm track. The track is starting to cool with the sun going down, so the conditions are changing rapidly. It's going to be a lot colder, a lot less grip, and they're in the middle of the pack.
Yeah, they're close to their second pit stop too, so these tires are feeling it. What a crazy sight to see, all of these LMP2s in between the GTPs and some GT3s. This is a great representation of what this race has felt like for these drivers, and just how the sheer amount of cars and classes we have on track. Oh, and Braden gets sent off by a GT3 into the wall.
Oh my god, and he hit the wall pretty hard. They are flying down this straight. They're going well above 100 miles an hour, so we have to see if he's gonna get damage from that tap on the wall.
It doesn't look like it's slowing him down too much, but we saw this early in the race. Patience might have been the better move there and might have actually cost him less time than trying to get around that GT3 early.
It's also very hard to tell a racing driver to be patient. They want to make a move. They want to go for the gaps, like the famous quote of Ayrton Senna.
With that contact with the GT3, Oliver is now, oh, he goes a little bit wide, but Oliver is now fighting for P1 right beside Jack. That he's gonna tuck in behind him, going around. They still have some traffic to clear. We've got a slower Porsche coming up.
And we have less than a second separating Braden, Oliver, and Jack for the lead. All three of these fighters really want that win, and they are not letting up. Oh, it looks like Jack gets back ahead of Oliver.
Oh, and Braden takes a little bit of the grass on the right side of the track there. This is an incredible battle, and the best part is they're keeping it clean. They're keeping it on track. They're not hitting each other. They're not door banging. None of that. And as we look a little bit further back at Gary, he's actually closing the gap because these three drivers are fighting.
Yeah, their racecraft is so impressive. All of them are fighting their tires, they're fighting the car, they're fighting the weather, they're fighting the track changes, and they're managing to keep the race clean amongst themselves while fighting so close within tenths of seconds. Let's take a look.
Yeah, as we come up to the start-finish line, we're still clearing some traffic here. Seeing it, Oliver gets past with ease. Now he's looking at the taillights of Jack's LMP2. three drivers, less than a tenth between each other. Braden slips him behind Jack, now side by side with Oliver as they come up.
Oh, and they are
They
three
are
wide.
3 wide into this turn,
Oh, that cannot be good.
and it doesn't look like Oliver makes it out. Let's get a replay on that from a different angle. Oh, and Gary takes a place there. Let's get a replay.
Yeah, 3 wide was not the move coming up turn 5. I believe that's turn 5 and turn 6. So yeah, 3 of them trying to take it. It was unfortunate for Oliver, who was on the outside of that turn.
Yeah, it looks like Braden gave a little bit of a bump to Jack, which actually sent Jack into the tail end of Oliver, giving a spin. Honestly, it's just close. It's just close racing. There's not much you can do in that situation going 3 wide.
Yeah, you could say one of the drivers could have waited, maybe the one in the back, to make the move coming up through the carousel or through the kink. That's turns 8 and 9, 10. But unfortunately, like we said, these drivers can't be patient. They are fighting tooth and nail. They have been within a second this entire time.
Yeah, and this is the first time Braden is going to be back in P1 since the 1 hour and 55-minute mark. So he is, after an early spin and a few off tracks, he is back from the middle of the pack up to the front. There is still, these drivers will still have to make another pit stop. So we'll see if they all go in at the same time again, or if they stagger it a little bit, maybe get a little bit of strategy in there.
Yeah, and that's a great point, Miles. After an hour and 8 minutes, Braden was close enough to take the lead after that incident of the 3 wide into turn 6. Right now it is full nighttime. We see Jack flashing his lights at Braden, trying to distract him, trying to remind him he's there, he's coming, and he's gonna try to take that position. So he's trying to make Braden sweat a bit.
Yeah, everything matters in these race events. So he's flashing the lights, trying to get in Braden's head, make sure he knows he's still behind him in the rear view. But we know Jack has the pace to extend the gap, and he's been the fastest in this race so far, and he continues to prove that. But it really comes down to who's going to make a mistake first. So we're just going to have to wait and see.
Yeah, and he is following close, but we have Gary now on the podium position. He's 3 seconds behind both of these guys. He has been very consistent the entire time. He was near the back of the grid when the race started, and for most of the time, but slowly he has been creeping up into that 3rd place position. Now Oliver had that unfortunate spin, and he is 5.5 seconds behind Gary. Let's see if in the next 45 minutes he could gain that position back.
Yeah, and Ruben, you said it earlier on. Gary was, I believe, in 6th position, and you told us don't count Gary out. He's got the pace to do it, and look at him now. He's up in 3rd place. So this race is still, at least the podium is still anyone can be on there. They've got the pace to do it. And looking at the race overall, it actually looks like Hayden has decided to retire the car, which puts Connor up into 6th place.
Yeah, that's going to be good news for Connor. Right now, he is running down the back straight of the race. He is being followed by Gabe, who had that unfortunate incident. Oh, look at that. It looked like Braden went off track, tried to get the pass done, overshot it, and let Jack take the lead once again.
That was an incredible move. Let's get a replay on that and see if there was anything Braden could do to avoid going off track there.
Yeah, I think it was just an ambitious move. He's in the lead. He's feeling the pressure. He has a GT3 car ahead. Oh, wow. He tried to dive through the inside. There was no room there, and he hit the grass.
Yeah, and once he hit the grass, he just didn't have enough time on the tarmac to actually slow down, which opened up the opportunity for Jack to take the lead again. Let's go back live.
Yeah, and it looked, I mean, he did avoid the gravel, so it looks like he didn't lose as much time, but he is now within a second of Jack.
Yeah, Ruben, at the end of the day, if you keep it out of the wall, that's probably significantly better and saves you a little bit of time. But Braden has the pace, and we can already see it even after that going wide. He's already back within a second.
Yeah, he did keep it out of the wall. He kept it out of trouble, but now Gary is within 2 seconds. So Gary will be applying a lot more pressure. And in the nighttime, you can't see the cars as well, but you will see those headlights. Even if he's 2 seconds behind, you'll know that he's there. He's within reach of Braden. So we might just see Gary climb the ladder even more.
Yeah, and I will say, taking a look at the back of the pack, Gabe had an incident a little bit ago in the race, and it forced him to pit early. I'm not entirely sure if he'll have enough fuel to go to the end, but he has been closing that gap. He's been in clear air. He's been consistently running 156s, while these other drivers we can see on the timing board, a lot of these guys, because of the traffic, have been a little bit slower than their pace earlier on in the event. So Gabe might actually have a chance once all these drivers start hitting the pits, to claw back up.
Yeah, we've been seeing a lot of position changes since the race started. We've seen guys go from the back of the grid to the front of the grid. Oh, it looks like Braden goes wide, hits gravel. But yeah, you cannot count any of these drivers out. They are all battling it out. You don't know how the pit stops will affect this next stint. We know that Gabe had an early pit stop. I believe it was at an hour 5 or an hour 10. So that is not within range to make it to the end on that fuel tank. So we'll have to see how he adapts, what he decides to do. I honestly think now is a good time for him to pit and try to make it to the end.
Yeah, I would agree. We're coming up on the point where these drivers are going to be running out of fuel, so I'm interested to see if they all go in at the same time or if they stagger a little bit. The first pit stop, they all went in at the same time. Gary, though, coming from the back of the pack, is now applying pressure to Braden, who is in second position. This battle could actually slow Braden and Gary down and actually extend that lead for Jack, which is probably what he's hoping for.
Well, actually, if you look at their last lap times, Gary set the fastest lap out of the three. Jack did a 57.2. Braden did a 58.5. He was a little off the pace, slowing down Gary, who still managed a 56.9. So he's within point 0.3 of Jack's time and trying to get past Braden. And it looks like they're side by side. Is he going to get the move done? Oh, it looks like he did. Wow.
Yeah, Gary uses all of the track there to get around Braden, not leaving any room. And he has now taken second position. About 30 minutes ago, he was running in I think it was correct me if I'm wrong, Ruben, but I believe it was P5. And now he is up to P2.
I believe you're right, Miles. We did have Gabe and Hayden fall back after their incident. They both had to go into the pits after their collision. That bumped Gary up a couple spots, but now he is fighting to get back at Jack. He is trying to get the win, which would be a super impressive run from Gary. He was in the back of the pack, going up, and winning this race would be insane. Another thing I want to point out right now, with the weather dropping, the brakes are having a much easier time. Now, these are endurance racing cars. They are meant to race for long, long times. So it's not a problem, but it's something that the drivers have to adjust to. Just how we've seen some of them miss the braking points. Maybe some are even braking a little earlier. But yeah, the weather's a big factor that they need to adapt to.
Yeah, and it looks like all of these drivers are going to follow each other into the pit lane, keeping the order. We'll see if, as long as they get into their pit boxes appropriately. Oh, it looks like Braden overshoots a little bit, which will cost him a few seconds. But all of the cars who are in contention are in the pit lane. except Gabe, who had to do an early pit stop due to some damage. Yeah, these drivers have now come out of the pit stop after their last, hopefully their last time in there, and Jack keeps the lead. We've got Gary in P2, Braden in P3, Oliver P4, Gabe in P5, and Connor in P6. I think from here, Ruben, it's just flat out racing as long as just to the checkered flag.
Yeah, let's hope they could keep it clean all the way to the end. But yeah, you're right, Miles. It's going to be just a flat out pace to the end. There's no more pit stops, or at least there shouldn't be from here on out. Oh, it looks like we had a driver in the wall. I believe that's Connor, still trying his best to learn the car. He is having trouble in the nighttime. He's trying to adjust to it. Meanwhile, Jack is also fighting the car. I want to take a look at their laps. So Jack right now, his fastest lap is a 56.2. I know Gary has ran a 55. Some of these drivers have been in the 55s. So they're running faster times than Jack, but Jack has managed to stay consistent with his lap times, and that is why he is still in the lead.
Yeah, Gary is not letting up, though. He's got his sights set on P1. This will be, if the standings stay true till over the checkered flag, this will be a first-time podium for Jack and Gary. Braden is still looking for that three-peat, though. Don't count him out. He's still close enough to do it. This will be his third race win in a row.
Yeah, we still have 35 minutes to go. It's a long time. They just finished their final pit stops, so all of these drivers are going to be feeling that. They're going to want to push the cars, and they're going to want to push them hard. But this final stint, they're starting it at nighttime with those cold tires. So whoever is able to warm those tires up the fastest with the least amount of mistakes and the fastest pace is going to be the man on top, I believe. Right now, Braden has ran a 55.7. Gary has ran a 55.9. Jack has only managed a 56.2. But he is still 1.2 seconds ahead of those guys as we see him get through the traffic.
Yeah, for some of the drivers today, the traffic has played in their favor, and for others, it has sent them off track. So navigating this traffic has been an extreme factor to this race, and it's really mixed it up. I think without the traffic, these drivers would just be swapping positions left and right. So it's really made it a lot more interesting, and it's made these drivers need to strategize how they're going to get around. And yeah, we're starting to see raw pace and brains really play into the results of this race.
Yeah, we have seen some major changes here. Well, within these top three specifically, we saw Jack fighting with Gary, with Braden. Braden was fighting with Oliver for a while for most of this race, and Oliver has just fallen back a bit. He's 18 seconds behind Braden now, but he might still be in this. We have to see how the race plays out.
Yeah, let's go on board with Gary for a second here and just see what he's seeing. See those inputs, just get a feel for what this race is looking like for him. Gary's still looking for that first position. He is about a second and a half away from Jack, who's in P1, dealing with some. Is this some GTP? It looks like GTP traffic, which honestly probably won't be an issue for much longer. As there it goes. It's out and away.
Yeah, this race has been absolutely insane. Right now we're in the pitch of night with 30 minutes left. It's going to be interesting once the sun starts to rise. We're going to see how the drivers adapt and who adapts the fastest. They're going to be on the same set of tires, same set of fuel, so there's not going to be any changes. At least you would hope, right? And then we'll see who has the best pace once the sun is up and the track is warm.
Yeah, we should cross the finish line with that checkered flag as the sun rises, which will be a beautiful sight to see, Ruben, honestly. It's really going to come down to consistency. A lot of these drivers throughout the race have had incredible pace, but because they are pushing so hard, we've seen a lot of off tracks. We've seen people going a little bit wide on some of these turns, that's why we're seeing the gravel on the track. And if these drivers can stay consistent for the next 30 minutes, they could secure a podium. Jack and Gary will be securing their first podium ever here at Ignition Sim Racing. Jack, this being his first win at Ignition Sim Racing. Braden is still in contention in that third place position, looking for the three-peat. We'll see if he can do it. He's still got enough time as long as, like I said, he stays consistent.
Yeah, right now the podium positions seem pretty set, but nothing is set in stone until the checkered flag. So, they have to keep the pace, but play it safe. Now, with them being so close to each other, none of them are going to be thinking about keeping it safe and staying behind. They want to get the pass done. They want to get through, and they want the win, especially for Gary here. He dug himself from the back of the grid, made it all the way to P2 here, and he has Jack within his sights.
Yeah, Ruben, this is going to be a great end to the race, and I'm just looking forward to seeing the results. I'm hoping there's no more major incidents. I want to see all these drivers cross the finish line. We saw an early retirement from Hayden after taking unsustainable damage to his car, which just outweighed the pros there. So it's unfortunate to see him out of the race after some great driving. But we'll have to see how this turns out. We're hoping for some clean racing. These drivers have kept it clean for the entire race, side by side into most of these turns, battling. So it's really going to come down to who stays consistent, who stays clean. Right now we're on board with Gary, seeing his inputs, seeing what he's seeing. Everything that goes in. Oh, this might be the commentator's curse. Maybe we'll hop off Gary because he keeps going off track when we're spectating. But we'll pull it back out to the far cam and let them do their things. I don't want to jinx it anymore, Ruben.
Yeah, you might be right about that one, Miles. Yeah, every time we see a driver, we happen to see these incidences. I don't know if it's us jinxing it. He feels eyes over him, but he did manage to recover pretty well. He's now 4 seconds away from Jack, but he still has a 3-second gap on Braden, so he has some breathing space.
Yeah, and after a big incident early on with Hayden, Gabe is trying to claw his way up the field. He is currently down 20 seconds to the car in front, which is going to be Oliver. That's a pretty substantial gap, but I know he's going to keep fighting and keep pushing until the very, very end. So we're just going to have to see how it plays out. We're hoping he can get a few more places or even just get into a battle or see another car and just give us some action. Yeah, give us some action, Gabe.
Yeah, he has been closing the gap. I believe he was over 40 seconds from Oliver. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but he has closed that quite a bit. So we are seeing Gabe in flow state right now.
Yeah, and as we've seen throughout this entire race, he has chased down the first position driver for the entire race. He has never let up, and he's had the pace to be at the front of the grid. Obviously, there were some things that happened to him that were a little bit unfortunate that have brought him back to the pack. But as we can see, a minute ago, I said he was 20 seconds down, and now he's got that under 20. A little bit of an off track there, and it's gonna go back up to 20. But he's got the pace. He's gonna be totally fine. We'll see if he can catch up to Oliver and at least get up to fourth position.
Yeah, right now he's getting a pretty good slipstream on that GTP Porsche 963. Yeah, he has closed that down to 18 seconds. We'll see if Oliver is able to close his gap to Braden, but at this point it looks like the top three have a pace that is unmatched. They are too far ahead. They are driving too strong, too consistent for anyone to take away their positions.
Yeah, their paces are so close to each other that they're all just keeping the same gap. Strategy is kind of played into this a little bit on when they pit, how clean they got into the pit lane. We saw earlier that Braden kind of overshot his pit box a little bit and had to back up, costing him about 2 seconds, and he's now down 3 seconds to Gary. So that definitely played a part in his third position right now after being in first position.
And it looks like Jack right now in the lead has found his flow as well. He just set his fastest lap, or close to his fastest lap, on the most recent lap he did. So he is holding a very, very strong pace. He is trying to open that gap to Gary, make sure that there's no one in contention for the win. And again, a big part of that is his real life experience. He's used to this track. He knows all the bumps and curves and how it drives. Now, granted, it is in a Formula 4 car, but experience is experience, and that translates over to LMP2 apparently.
Yeah, I would agree. Just being familiar with the track layout really gives him an advantage because now he's just having to learn the car. He just has to get into a new platform and figure out all the references for this car. So he's already got one step down. He knows this track a lot. He's done a lot of practice in the sim as well to prepare for those real life events too. So he's got the preparation. Let's see if he can keep that gap. It's now down to 4.5 seconds, but I think between him and Gary, they're pushing as hard as they can.
Yeah, Braden too. We can't count him out. Like you've mentioned before, he's a two-time winner, consecutive winner, trying to make it a third. Something I noticed during that onboard with Jack was quite a bit of understeer throughout some of those turns. So these tires might be getting a bit worn. Uh, but yeah, he's pushing strong. Gary's pushing strong, and so is Braden. Braden, it looks like he's gonna get a third podium in a row. May not be a third win like he wanted, but a podium is still a strong finish, especially in this field. This is the most competitive race we have seen since our very first one. Nothing like this.
Yeah, and for those of you at home who are watching this and thinking that you don't think there's an opportunity for you to be in this, there completely is. Everybody has a chance to participate in these race events. You just have to keep an eye out for when we post on our social medias at Ignition Sim Racing for those events and for information on those events. If you guys tune into those, you'll have an opportunity here. And these drivers, for the guys who get on the podium, they're going to be getting some free race time. They're going to be earning more time. And in the end, really, their hard work and dedication is going to pay off. And they're going to be able to get back here to Ignition Sim Racing and enjoy that time.
Oh, yeah, and a lot of these drivers have been enjoying it. Let's take a look at Gabe, for example. Gabe isn't a local here in Tucson. He actually lives in Phoenix, but he makes the drive down here. He is a dedicated Ignition sim racer. He loves it here. He loves the environment, the sims that we have, and he comes down for races all the time.
Yeah, Braden as well coming down from Phoenix. So we've got two drivers here who aren't even Tucson locals, and they're coming down, and you can tell they're competitive, and it's great to have them. It's great to see them here, and it's great to see that they're putting in the time. We appreciate their support, and we appreciate their participation in the events.
Yeah, and we will continue to accommodate all of our sim racers, whether you're from down the street or in Phoenix or even another state. We haven't had anyone from another state yet, but we will leave our doors open to you. If you want to come down from another state and race at one of these events, you're more than welcome.
Yeah, looking at the overall race now, we've got Jack in P1, followed by Gary, who's got a 4-second gap to the lead. And then we've got Braden in third place with another 4-second gap to Gary. In fourth place, we've got Oliver. Fifth place, we've got Gabe. In sixth place, we've got Connor. And in seventh place, we've got Hayden, who unfortunately retired the car earlier in this race due to some damage.
Yeah, it was unfortunate for Hayden, but it just goes to show how determined Connor is to remain on track. He has had a few spins, a few incidents, and he gets back out there and continues to race that LMP. He has been improving over this last hour, 40 minutes. We did get a 30-minute qualifying time. He was kind of studying the car, studying the track, and it looks like he's kind of found his flow, his state. So it's nice to see new racers come and develop their skills, and at the same time see the great battles we've been seeing amongst the elite racers.
Yeah, Ruben, if you ask me, he's getting 2 hours in the sim of driving. I would take that any day. 2 hours in the sim, not only are you over here driving at Ignition Sim Racing, but you're also on track with these other experienced drivers. Everybody's out here having a good time. 2 hours of driving, Ruben. I'd take that.
I take it any day of the week and twice on Sunday. Yeah, it's great to see. It's awesome that he got a chance to race in his very first event against such a competitive field. All of these drivers have podium, actually, except for Jack and Gary, but we know that they had this podium coming. Both of them are some of the best drivers we've had, and they're proving it today. We saw Gary come all the way from the back, maintain a strong pace, stay out of trouble. His awareness is elite, and Jack is just showing his S tier skills on this track.
Yeah, it's great to follow some of these drivers across our numerous race events that explore different series and demographics of racing. We've obviously seen all these drivers in the LMP3s, the GT3s, the GR Cup, the MX5 Cup, and it's really cool to see these returning drivers and see which racing discipline they swim in the most. Like they have the best time, and it's looking like in this race, Jack is extraordinarily comfortable in this car. Not to say Gary, Braden, Oliver, Gabe, Connor, or Hayden are any less comfortable, but Jack might have just found the car for him. He's got the pace, he's been consistent, and he's made the least amount of mistakes.
Yeah, which comes to me as a surprise, Miles. I'm not gonna lie. He does come from open wheel racing. That's what he prefers. So Formula cars, they tend to turn a bit more, have a little more slip angle, and they're just a different style of car. And Jack seems to be extremely comfortable, almost natural in the LMP2.
Yeah, I would agree. And even taking a look at Braden in third place, his primary racing discipline is going to be those GT3 cars. He excels in the GT3s, so it is awesome to see him on a podium in an LMP2 car after how much time he's spent in the GT3s. We've also got a challenge coming up, brought to you by Braden, who, for those of you who don't know, he's an 11-year-old sim racing prodigy, is what I would say. I'm gonna give him that title. He is extraordinarily fast in those GT3s, and we've got a challenge coming here soon to Ignition Sim Racing. And if you can beat his lap time on Spa in the Corvette GT3, you could earn $500 worth of seat time here at Ignition Sim Racing. Information on that will be announced soon, so make sure to follow us on social media at Ignition Sim Racing. We'll be posting that announcement very, very soon, and you'll want to come in and start setting your lap times. Try and beat his time. We're not going to tell you the time yet, but when you guys come in, you'll be able to, we'll let you guys know, and you'll have that opportunity.
Yeah, and it's quite the award. I mean, when you put it like that, Miles, it's like all I have to do is get a faster lap time around a track than an 11-year-old. But like you said, he is a prodigy. That is not, there's no denying that. He is insanely good, very, very fast, so talented for any driver of any age, much more at his age. Now we're coming up to the last 15 minutes of the race. You got to start thinking, how is the fatigue of the drivers? How is their focus? They have been running this 4-mile course lap after lap after lap for an hour and 45 minutes. They've been managing traffic. They've been managing the weather, the time. We are in the middle of the night still, and they have got to be feeling that. They have got to be tired. You know, some of them even sweating, Miles. What do you think they're experiencing right now?
Yeah, I gotta be honest. Doing a 2 hour stint in a 6 hour race here at Ignition in the past, I know how it feels to get to the end of that 2 hour stint. Us, it depends. Like honestly, sometimes you just drop into that flow state and you're just driving the car. But I know for me at least, the back starts feeling it, the legs start feeling it, your hands are sweaty. So as these drivers just have to kind of push past that and just make it to the end. They'll be able to get up and stretch their legs, but they've got 13 minutes left till they can do that.
Yeah, that's right, Miles. You have gotten a podium with Ignition Sim Racing in a 6 hour race before, as well as me with my team. We were racing against each other. We both managed a podium, and it was a well fought race. But yeah, for me, the biggest thing was the focus. So you may be feeling it on your body, your legs, your back, your hands. But for me, it was the focus. After a certain amount of time, you just you lose concentration for a split second, and that's an off track. You miss your braking point by 5 meters, and you could end up on the barrier.
Yeah, I would have to agree. Any off track now, Gary is 3 seconds behind the leader. Jack is in P1, and if he happened to go off track, that could cost him 3 seconds and the lead. And we've seen positions change in an instant. So it's the same as it was at the 1 hour and 30 minute mark as it is now at the 12 minute mark. Those mistakes still hold the same weight and the same consequences. So these drivers have to keep it clean.
Yeah, I mean, take a look at Oliver. He was fighting with Braden most of this race, and then they had that 3 cars wide into turn 6. Remind me who the other driver was, Miles?
That other driver was going to be the three drivers were Braden, Jack, and Oliver, and obviously going into turn 6 there, they went 3 wide. A little bit of contact created a chain reaction, which unfortunately resulted in Oliver taking the brunt of it, dropping him back to 4th place, probably out of contention for that podium as he is 28 seconds back.
Yeah, we would need a huge crash for Oliver to be back in contention, but that just highlights the necessity to be clean, to be consistent on your laps. He was very clean, very consistent. There was an unfortunate situation with the other 2 drivers, and now he's 30 seconds behind when we're running 2 minute lap times. So he's quite a bit back, not really in the fight. Oh, and it looks like Gary just went off. He's losing time out to Jack, and Braden is now closing that gap.
Yeah, and as the field spreads out here, Ruben, I'm interested to see how much this traffic is going to maybe determine or decide the end results. We've seen earlier in the race the GT3 traffic has proven to be quite detrimental for these drivers, costing them 2 to 3 seconds a lap just trying to get around there. We've seen drivers get an advantage for being in the clean air and being a little bit further back and able to close that gap, but as soon as they get to traffic, which if my calculations are correct, they're probably coming up on some GT3 traffic, and they might hit that around the 5 minute mark, right before the checkered flag. So hopefully traffic won't determine the end result, but it has been a factor in this race so far.
Yeah, that traffic could change these last 10 minutes of the race. So we do still have a few of the GTP cars flying by them. A couple of those 963 Porsches. Man, those have got to be some of the most beautiful race cars out there. But yeah, the cars are going to definitely change these last 10 minutes for the drivers if they can't manage them well. And it will be harder to manage because we're still in the middle of the night. We're approaching dawn, but it's still dark out there, and they're going to have a harder time seeing those cars come up behind them.
Yeah, and we've seen speaking of the night, we've seen the time on some of these drivers drop. Their average lap time has dropped a little bit, and I'm wondering, Ruben, if that is because of the lack of visibility. If some of these drivers are a little bit less comfortable because they can't see as far ahead. we've seen Oliver, his pace has kind of dropped since the sun went down and the lights went out. So I'm wondering too if that plays a role in it. Gary and Braden appear to be making the around the same amount of mistakes. They have even with the mistakes, they've consistently stayed about 5 seconds apart from each other. So they're not really. They got to keep it on track, Ruben. They got to keep it consistent.
Yeah, they definitely do. One driver I do want to point out is Gabe. Gabe is still running very strong times. He just did a 56.0, while Oliver's at 57.2. So he might start to close that. I think it's too far with 8 minutes to go, but he's showing strong pace. I mean, as well as everyone else this entire time.
Yep, and like I said, as we look at Jack, let's go into a cockpit view here. We'll take a look, but here's that GT3 traffic I was worrying about. It's caused issues in the past, but we'll see if he can clear it. He gets past the Porsche quick, but that's the back runner, or the back marker, excuse me, of that GT3 class. So there are definitely more up ahead.
Yeah, and with 8 minutes to go, we know he's gonna hit more traffic up ahead. Right now, it looks like the GTP cars got past him. He's trying to stay with them as best as he can. Obviously, they're a lot faster cars, but he will be approaching GT3 traffic soon. So let's see how he manages.
Yeah, and Gary is now coming up on the same GT3 traffic. Let's see how he navigates it. And it looks like he's coming up on Connor, who's the back marker of the LMP2 class. Let's go on board with him.
Oh, it looks like there was contact. We didn't want to jinx it by going to the cockpit view, but it looks like Gary survived that contact. He went for the move. It looks like Connor was focusing on the GT3 ahead, didn't see Gary, and got pushed wide off track right on the straight. So that's detrimental to that lap.
Yeah, especially in the night, it kind of just looked like Gary came out of nowhere, and Connor honestly probably didn't see him. The visibility is pretty low, and if you can't see those headlights, then you're not going to know there's a car approaching quickly right beside you. And Gary is running a much quicker pace than Connor is, so the speed difference there was a little bit larger there.
Yeah, it definitely was, Miles. And you also got to remember these hills. The hills are pretty blinding, so you won't see anything until you get on top of that hill. So I'm guessing Connor just didn't see him behind him when coming out of that corner, and he just popped in out of nowhere, which, again, you said he had much faster pace. So luckily, they both survived. Connor's still in the race. He didn't have to pit, and Gary is also okay. He is falling back from Jack 6 seconds, more or less, and actually losing a bit of time. So I wonder if he did get some damage.
Yeah, with 5 minutes left, I'm not sure if this is enough time for Braden to secure that second place position, but it is not making it any easier for Gary to secure that first place position either. As long as Jack can keep it on the track, keep it consistent, and manage this traffic properly, he might be in for his first ever race win here at Ignition Sim Racing. Gary looking for his first ever podium as well. These top three have had an exceptional race, great pace, incredibly safe driving, clean driving. It's just been a blast, so thank you guys for all tuning in. I hope you guys have enjoyed just as much as we have, and we've got 5 minutes left.
Oh yeah, and these 5 minutes are gonna be flying by as we see all of these drivers push the last bit of the fuel, the last bit of their tires, and try to maintain position. Right now, it's really the podium finishers trying to find an opportunity. Jack is trying to keep the lead, and he is building a bigger gap to Gary, but you gotta wonder, like, Gary and Braden are both trying to find some sort of mistake, some sort of opportunity to get that win, to get a higher position. One thing that we do know is for certain is most likely our sixth and seventh position.
Yeah, and I want to touch on some of these drivers again. Looking over at Oliver in fourth place, he actually just secured his first ever podium at our rookie event a couple of weekends ago, actually, and now he's come back. He's put in the work, and he's not on the podium this time, but he has been testing our top three drivers all race, and unfortunately, due to some strategy and maybe a little bit of incidents down the road, it is set him into that fourth place position. But that does not take away the amount of effort and work he has put in to be in this position.
Yeah, Oliver has ran a very strong race. I think he was definitely one of the top contenders. I mean, when you looked at the start of the race, they were all fighting very, very closely. The pace, the lap times, everything was super close between the drivers. It was a matter of seeing how they strategized the pits, how they managed traffic, and how they managed the time changing into night. And it looks like these top threes were the ones that got the best of it. Some of it might have been luck, some of it was opportunities, and majority was skill. All of these drivers are extremely skilled. They have managed the entire race so well, and it's great to see.
Yeah, and taking it back to the hour and 30-minute mark, Gary was in sixth place, and there was a pretty substantial gap to fifth place, and he just never gave up. And look at him now. He's up into second place. Same thing with Braden, and obviously they're benefiting a little bit from some of the incidents in the middle of the race that caused some drivers to drop in the places, but they have all put their hearts out on the track. They've left nothing left. They've just pushed to the limit, Ruben, and it's been a great race.
Yeah, they push to the absolute limit. Right here you can see Connor pushing as best as he can. His lap times have been improving throughout the race. He is still trying to break into the 1 minute. He's at a 2:02 right now, continuing to push that LMP2 as best as he can. But Braden is now coming up behind him very closely. He's going to try to get past him here, coming out of the carousel into the back end straight. They are approaching the kink. It's a high-speed turn. They are taking this turn at 140 miles an hour, I believe. Actually, I'm sorry. They just finished the last turn. They're coming up down the front straight and hitting over 170 miles an hour.
Yeah, and with a minute left, Braden has now closed the gap to 2 seconds. I'm not sure if that's going to be enough to secure second position, but you never know. If Gary makes a mistake or slips up, Braden could slot into that second place position.
Yeah, and just a couple laps ago, that gap was over 4 seconds. It was like 4.5 seconds. And then Gary made that contact. I believe it was with Connor. So you have to wonder, maybe Gary is dragging a damaged car to the end. It could just be aerodynamic damage, but damage nonetheless. And that is giving Braden an opportunity to take this race all the way to the end. We are approaching the final laps before we hit the checkered flag. So let's see what unfolds. But he could have made his way back.
Braden is now 1.8 seconds away from Gary on the coming up to the final lap. Jack has just crossed the start finish line, or sorry, approaching the start finish line. He's going up the hill right now, managing that traffic.
Oh my God, that was a close call there with the GTP car. They went side by side up that hill, and here he is down the back straight, entering his final lap. It has been an incredible race to watch, one to remember for the ages. All of these drivers have put all their heart out, everything into the race. It has been 2 hours of nonstop action. It's been a pleasure to see, a pleasure to commentate. Yeah, so thanks for tuning in, guys.
Yeah, like you said, it's been a pleasure. My name is Miles, and my co-host here is Ruben. We've both participated in these race events before, and if you guys want the opportunity to participate in these race events, all you got to do is look out for the announcements and be sure to sign up. Follow us on socials at Ignition Sim Racing for all the updates and news. And this could be you. You could be on the stream. Send it to your friends and family.
That's right. We got a lot of these racers' families watching this stream. They're tuning in. Even if you can't make it down here to Ignition Sim Racing, you can join us on our live here on YouTube and follow along with the race. We're going to be doing a lot more commentating in the races to come, but we still have a handful of races. You can see all of the action yourself as we see Jack go through the carousel. He is approaching one of the final turns. It's called the kink, and something happened to Braden. It looks like he fell back quite a bit from Gary. He is now only 2.8 seconds ahead of Oliver. Oliver might have a chance here at a podium, which would be insane. After seeing these two fight it out most of the race, we might just see them fight it out all the way to the checkered flag. Now, looking at Jack, he's coming up on the final turns, so he is very close to securing the Ignition Sim Racing LMP2 at Road America Endurance Championship of 2026. Let's take a look at what unfolds here.
Oh, and Jack has crossed the finish line, I believe, or we're not too sure what happened. Let's take a look at that replay.
Yeah, we are seeing that Gary's ahead, but I'm pretty sure Jack crossed the line first, so we'll have to run that back and double check to see what just happened.
Yeah, but let's look at our unofficial race results for our LMP2 2-hour endurance race. So as it stands, and we'll have to get you guys more information on Jack, but as it stands, we've got Gary in first place, Braden in second place, Oliver in third place, Jack in fourth, Gabe in fifth place, Connor in sixth place, and Hayden in seventh place. Thank you guys for tuning in. It has been an incredible race, and we hope to see you guys in the next one. Take care. We've got big news for you guys. Jack Speth appears to have ran out of fuel on the last lap.
Yeah, he was coming up on the final corner. He just did not plan out his pit stop at the right time. He was just shy of victory. He almost had the win. It was in his hands, and it looks like he lost podium positions to that small mistake.
Yeah, so with an incredible turn of events, we actually have our now unofficial race results. We've got Gary in first place, Braden in second place, and at the last minute, Oliver securing his second podium at Ignition Sim Racing in third place.
And that just goes to show how action-packed these races are. You never know what happens until the very end. Jack had it in the bag. We knew he was going to win, but we did not know that he was out of fuel and had to drag the car to the end. losing out on first, second, and third place, promoting Oliver into a podium position.
Like I said, those positions aren't guaranteed until the checkered flag, and we saw that here. Oliver's determination and fight has led to him getting his second podium. Braden misses out on his three-peat by one position, but still a great result for him at second place. And Gary for his first ever podium and first ever race win here at Ignition Sim Racing. I'm Miles, and I'm here with Ruben, and this has been an incredible race. Thank you to everybody who watched. We will catch you in the next one.